The Wild West wasn't a romantic tale, it was a brutal experiment in survival where every man's future depended on the steel at his side. Revolvers weren't ornaments, they were equalizers, decision makers, and symbols of reputation. Some were crude, others ambitious, but all carried the weight of life and death. Tonight, we strip back the campfire myths and examine the 9 most fearsome, ingenious, and game-changing revolvers to ride the frontier. These weapons didn't just fire bullets, they fired legends. This is Lead and Legacy, where the gun is history, and history hits hard. Think you've heard it all about Colts and Peacemakers? Think again. These revolvers redefined tactics, terrified enemies, and sometimes failed spectacularly. From hand cannons so massive, they split apart, to twin revolvers wielded like an orchestra of death. This list will change the way you think about frontier gunfighting. Welcome to Lead and Legacy. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss another deep dive. Number 9, Colt Walker, hand cannon of the Rangers. The Colt Walker wasn't just a revolver, it was artillery disguised as a handgun. Weighing over 4 pounds and stretching nearly 16 inches, it was impossible to carry on the hip. Texas. Rangers demanded a sidearm that could unseat a Comanche warrior at 50 yards, and Samuel Colt delivered with the help of Captain Samuel Walker, whose name the revolver bears. The Walker's .44 caliber ball, backed by an enormous powder charge, produced muzzle energy, rivaling modern magnums. A Ranger firing one didn't just drop a man, he slammed him. Backward, word spread quickly, and the sight of a Walker often ended fights before they began. Native warriors abandoned assaults when these cannons cleared leather, but such power carried risk. Cylinders occasionally burst, showering fragments into a shooter's hand. Its size made it slow and clumsy compared to smaller pistols. Yet in the brief window of its dominance, the Walker reshaped frontier combat. It proved a handgun could be more than personal defense. It could be a battlefield weapon, brutal, flawed, and unforgettable. Number 8, the earlier monster before the Walker's fame, the Colt Dragoon set the stage. Developed in the 1840s for mounted dragoons, it answered the demand for overwhelming power. At over 4 pounds, chambered for 44 balls and blasting charges that lit up the night sky, the Dragoon was terrifying. Soldiers carried them in pommel holsters, often 2 at a time, turning cavalry units into mobile shock troops. Its psychological effect was immense. Enemy formations sometimes broke at the sight of a line of dragoons raising these colossal pistols. The revolver's rugged construction withstood harsh campaigns. Some accounts even describe men using them as improvised clubs before reloading, and the guns kept firing afterward. Yet for all its strength, the Dragoon was unwieldy. Concealment was impossible, and drawing quickly from horseback or street holsters was awkward at best. As towns replaced battlefields and quick-draw encounters replaced cavalry charges, the Dragoon became more relic than a solution. Still, it represented the philosophy of maximum firepower, a philosophy the West never fully abandoned. Number 7, Remington New Model Army solid frame. Reliability. When Colt's patents expired, competitors rushed in. Remington answered with innovation that seems obvious today, a solid frame. By encasing the cylinder within a rigid structure, the new Model Army eliminated weak points, making it stronger, more durable, and more accurate than many contemporaries. Chambered in .44, it matched Colt's stopping power, but could safely handle hotter loads. Its rigidity improved accuracy, producing tighter shot groups, and its simpler mechanics made it easier to repair in the field. Soldiers and gunfighters alike valued the Remington for one trait. Above all, it simply worked. But advantages carried trade-offs. The frame added weight, making it less nimble than Colt's, and its cylinder was harder to swap. While Colt users could carry spare cylinders, Remington shooters had to reload traditionally. For some, that mattered. For others, reliability trumped everything. On a dusty trail or in a lawman's holster, the Remington New Model Army was the dependable workhorse, not glamorous, not mythic, but a revolver you could bet your life on, day after day, without fear of betrayal. Number 6, Colt Army 1860. Rifle power in a revolver, As the Civil War raged, Colt delivered the Army 1860, a revolver built for serious combat. Chambered in .44, it packed rifle-like punch into a sidearm that remained balanced and elegant. Union cavalry wielded them in thunderous charges, and after the war, soldiers carried them. West, where the same firepower protected ranches and settlements. With its 8-inch barrel, the Army Colt offered accuracy at ranges most pistols couldn't dream of. It was effective for hunting game, defending homesteads, or dropping an opponent across a dusty street. Gunfighters respected it for more than ballistics. The yawning muzzle itself was intimidation. Facing a .44 Army Colt often ended duels before they began. Yet the revolver's size slowed quick draws and made concealment difficult. In an age where saloon disputes could erupt in a heartbeat, speed mattered as much as power. The Army 1860 dominated on the battlefield and open country, but its bulk foreshadowed the need for sleeker, faster designs. It was the last of the big military revolvers before the West demanded something. Leaner. Number 5, Smith & Wesson Model 3, the cartridge. Revolution. The Model 3 was a glimpse of the future. At a time when most men still poured powder and rammed lead, Smith & Wesson unveiled a revolver that took metallic cartridges and reloaded in seconds. Its top brake design flipped the barrel forward and ejected all 6 casings at once. Drop in new rounds, snap shut, and you were back in the fight. This innovation wasn't just convenient, it was life-saving. In a gunfight, shaving 20 seconds off a reload could be the difference between living and dying. The .44 American cartridge, made specifically for the Model 3, delivered serious stopping power to match the speed. The revolver became an export hit with contracts from the Russian military, but many found their way back into American holsters. Cowboys and lawmen who carried one suddenly had an edge over opponents still fumbling with powder flasks. Fragility was its Achilles heel. Precision machining made it delicate, and parts were scarce on the frontier. But for those willing to maintain it, the Model 3 felt like sorcery. Fast, modern, and ruthlessly efficient, it redefined what a revolver could be and pushed the arms race forward. Number 4, Merwin and Halbert, selective ejection marvel. The Merwin and Halbert remains one of the most ingenious and least remembered revolvers of the West. Its secret was selective ejection. Twist and pull the barrel, and only spent shells fell out while live rounds stayed in place. This let shooters top off without wasting ammunition. A huge advantage when bullets and time were both precious. The revolver's tight barrel-to-frame lockup gave remarkable accuracy, earning respect among lawmen and professionals. Chambered in .44-40, it used the same cartridge as Winchester. Rifles, simplifying logistics. A cowboy could ride with one ammo pouch for both long gun and revolver, a godsend in the wilderness. But innovation came at a price. The Merwin's complex mechanics demanded regular maintenance and skill. Frontier gunsmiths often couldn't provide parts, making failures costly. For the practiced few who trusted it, though, it offered an efficiency unmatched by other designs. Distinctive in appearance and operation, the Merwin and Halbert symbolized the bold creativity of its era, a revolver that solved problems others hadn't even considered. Rare, eccentric, but brilliantly practical, it proved the West wasn't only about brute power, it was also about clever. Solutions. Number 3, Smith & Wesson Schofield, cavalry's reload. Advantage. The Schofield took the Model 3's brilliance and tailored it for mounted troops. Its top break. Action allowed cavalrymen to reload one-handed, ejecting all 6 empties in a flash and slamming in fresh rounds before an enemy closed. In the chaos of a charge, those seconds could decide entire skirmishes. Chambered for the .45 Schofield cartridge, the revolver delivered stopping power equal to or greater than the Peacemaker. Its rapid reload capability gave U.S. cavalry a tactical edge, and many officers bought them personally rather than wait for official issue. Outlaws like Jesse James also prized them. The ability to maintain relentless fire during robberies was invaluable. Yet drawbacks were real. The Schofield's ammunition was less common than .45 Colt, creating supply headaches. Its complex mechanics required more care than simpler revolvers and cost. Limited widespread adoption, but for those who wielded it, the Schofield was a marvel. fast, powerful, and respected. It stood as proof that innovation didn't just belong to factories. It belonged to the battlefield, where survival demanded speed and ingenuity. In many ways, it was the cavalry's perfect companion. Number 2, Colt Single-Action Army, the Peacemaker. When people picture the Wild West, they see the Peacemaker. Introduced in 1873, it became the defining revolver of the frontier. Chambered in .45 Colt, it balanced devastating power with elegant handling. Its single-action mechanism was smooth, predictable, and durable functioning in rain, dust, and chaos. Legends carried it: Wyatt Earp, Bat Masterson, Doc Holliday, but so did countless unknown settlers, ranchers, and sheriffs. Its silhouette alone was often enough to diffuse conflicts. To not draw a peacemaker was to send a message: I'm serious and I can end this. The revolver's versatility also mattered. It came in multiple barrel lengths, from quick draw sheriff's models to long-barreled variants. Owners customized grips, engravings, and finishes, turning each peacemaker into both tool and statement piece. It became a cultural icon precisely because it was practical, beautiful, and lethal all at once. No revolver of its time balanced so many needs so perfectly. It was simple to maintain, affordable, and universally feared. That's why it earned its name. The Peacemaker wasn't just a revolver. It was the standard against which all others were judged. Number 1, LeMat revolver, shotgun surprise hybrid. Dr. Jean-Alexandre LeMat was dissatisfied with ordinary revolvers. Why settle for 6 or 9 shots when you could also carry a shotgun in your hand? His invention married a revolver cylinder to a central smoothbore barrel, chambered for 20 gauge. With a flick of a lever, a shooter could unleash buckshot or a single slug after emptying revolver rounds. In practice, this meant devastating versatility. A lawman could fire aimed shots to control a situation, then switch to a blast that could scatter multiple attackers or even stop a charging horse. Confederate cavalry officers carried them with pride, and after the war, civilians adopted them for self-defense in unpredictable situations. Wild Bill Hickok was rumored to have carried one, though accounts differ. Regardless, the weapon's reputation preceded it. The sight of a LeMat, with its oversized muzzle, often ended fights before they began. Its flaws were real. The mechanism was complex and prone to fouling, and the gun was heavy and awkward for daily wear. But the LeMat was bold, terrifying, and unforgettable. It proved that. Sometimes innovation meant throwing convention aside and doubling down on firepower. From cannons masquerading as pistols to revolvers doubling as shotguns, these weapons weren't just tools. They were philosophies of survival. Which one surprised you the most? Could you see yourself trusting a Walker's raw power, or would you choose the Schofield's speed? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you love exploring the weapons that shaped legends, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to Lead in Legacy. Every revolver carried in the West was more than steel. It was a gamble, a reflection of its owner's values. Some trusted brute force, others precision, others speed. From the Walker and Dragoon to the Peacemaker and the match pair, each of these designs left its mark not just on individuals, but on an entire era's mythology. If this journey sparked your curiosity, help us. Keep telling these stories. Subscribe to Lead in Legacy. Until next time, keep the history alive and the legacy burning.